Okay, let's get right into it. A lot of people know they need an ITN, an individual taxpayer identification number. But today, we're not just doing a simple how-to. We're actually going to deconstruct the entire system. We're going to look under the hood at the very specialized engine that makes this whole process tick. So, here's our game plan. We're going to break it all down into 6 key parts. First, we'll hit the mandate, who actually needs an ITIN and why. Then we'll figure out why Austin, Texas is the one and only hub for this whole operation. We'll tackle what I call the document dilemma, explore the 3 different ways you can apply, nail down the mail-in process, and finally, get you ready for the waiting game. So let's start at the very beginning with the core problem this whole system was built to solve. It really boils down to one thing. You have to file US taxes, but you can't get a social security number. So what do? Well, you get an ITIN. And what I love about this is how crystal clear the purpose is. An ITIN is a tax processing number, period. The IRS issues it for one single reason: to handle federal taxes. It has absolutely nothing to do with work authorization or social security benefits. It's just a specialized tool for a very specific job. And who exactly uses this tool? Well, this slide breaks it down perfectly. It could be a non-resident alien with US income, or maybe you're a US resident for tax purposes just based on how many days you've been in the country. It also covers dependents or spouses of citizens, resident aliens, or even non-resident visa holders. You see the common thread here? It's all about needing to be on a US federal tax return. Okay, now to really get how the ITIN process works, with all its strict rules and this unbending logic, you have to understand its geography. The entire system is built on this idea of extreme centralization, which, you guessed it, brings us to our next section. Just stop and think about that for a second. Every single application, from anywhere in the US, from anywhere in the world, doesn't just go to some general IRS mailbox. No, it gets funneled into one highly specialized, purpose-built unit. This is not your average mailroom. This is an engine fine-tuned for one single task. And that engine is located right here, the IRS ITIN operation in Austin, Texas. And look, this isn't just a piece of trivia. This is the key that unlocks everything. It's the reason why the mailing addresses are so incredibly specific. This centralization means they can have highly trained staff and standardized security, making sure every single application is judged by the exact same tough standard. All right, now we're getting to the heart of it for most people, the part that causes the most stress and anxiety, the documents. See, that Austin engine is precise, but it needs a very specific kind of fuel, and that's where this whole document dilemma comes into play. This is the question, right? This is what everyone wants to know. Why on earth can't I just send a photocopy? Why do I have to put my actual passport or birth certificate in the mail? The answer really is simple: identity verification. The IRS has to be 100% certain about who you are and your foreign status. And there are only 2 kinds of documents that will cut it. And here they are, your only 2 valid options. You can either send your original document, or you can send what's called a certified copy. Now, a certified copy is one you get from the agency that issued the document in the first place. Think the State Department for a passport. And notice this huge warning here. Notarized copies are not acceptable. A notary just watches you sign something. They don't verify that the document itself is real. Honestly, this is such a common mistake, and it just stops your application cold. So, given how high the stakes are with sending these super valuable documents, how you apply becomes a real strategic decision. You're not just picking from a list, you're choosing a path based on how much risk, cost, and inconvenience you're willing to put up with. And this table just lays out the trade-offs perfectly. You've got the mail-in path, highest risk for your documents, but it's cheap, just the cost of postage. Then there's path 2, going to an IRS Taxpayer Assistance Center. That's low risk and it's free, but good luck getting an appointment. It can be really tough. And finally, you can use a Certifying Acceptance Agent, or a CAA. These are authorized people who can check your documents for you. Super low risk, very convenient, but it's going to cost you a fee. So as you can see, there's no best way. It really depends on what works for you. Since mailing it in is what most people end up doing, let's break down exactly how to do it right. Precision here is absolutely everything. Remember, you're sending a package to that specialized engine in Austin, and it has to be perfect. The package itself has 3 main parts. First, the completed Form W-7, that's the application. Second, you have to physically attach it to the front of your valid U.S. federal tax return. And third, you include the super important supporting documents we just talked about, the originals or the certified copies. Now listen up, because this is a critical warning straight from the IRS. It reveals a huge cause and effect trap. If you use the normal address you find in your tax form instructions, your package goes to a general processing center, not the special ITIN unit in Austin. This is, without a doubt, the single most common and totally preventable mistake in this entire process. So using the right address is everything. And you'll notice there are actually 2 of them, and it all depends on your delivery service. If you're using the good old US Postal Service, you use the P.O. Box. But if you're using a private courier like FedEx or UPS, they need a physical street address, so you use the Interregional Highway 1. Both roads lead to the same ITIN operation in Austin, they just go through different front doors. Okay, so you've put together the perfect package. You sent it to the right Austin address, the engine has it. Now comes what for many people is the hardest part, the wait. But if you understand the official timeline, you can manage your expectations and cut down on some of that stress. This timeline gives us a really clear framework. You should expect to hear something about your application in about 7 weeks. But if you apply right in the middle of tax season, say between January and April, that can easily stretch to 9 or even 11 weeks. And for getting those valuable documents back, the IRS is very clear. You need to wait a full 60 days before you even think about calling them to ask where they are. And here is a brilliant tip, a way to take back a little bit of control in this process. So the IRS will mail your documents back in standard mail, sure, but they actually let you include your own prepaid self-addressed courier envelope. This is a fantastic move because it means your passport or birth certificate comes back to you way faster and much more securely with a tracking number. And with that, you've got your ITIN. But, for a lot of people, the story doesn't end there. An ITIN is really just a placeholder for when you can't get a social security number. So the next logical question is a big one. What do you do if your situation changes and you do become eligible for an SSN? The answer is a really clear 3-step action plan. First, you have to stop using your ITN for tax stuff immediately. Second, you need to tell the IRS. And third, you do that by sending a letter, to a specific address back in Austin, with all your info and a copy of your new Social Security card. What they'll do then is merge all of your past tax history from your ITN over to your new SSN. This makes sure you get credit for every dollar you've paid in taxes. It is the final step that closes the loop on the whole ITN process.